Well, thank you so much. And I'm so blessed to serve in the Senate with my colleague Maisie, who I entered the Senate with in 2013. And Leader Reid's leadership on this issue has been absolutely critical, but Maisie really is the one who organizes us and gets us moving forward. And it's such an important issue. And I definitely want to just say it's so exciting to have Rudy Panaglima here from Arlington, and we'll hear from him and his family, so he's a proud Virginian. And I do also have to acknowledge, I have two wonderful Filipino-American staffers, Phil Alaya and Joe Montano, who have also made sure that this is an issue that's important. I knew precisely zero about the Filipino-American contribution to the American military, both serving in the military and serving alongside the military when I moved to Virginia in 1984. But we have a huge Filipino-American community in Virginia, largely in Hampton Roads, in and around the naval base in Norfolk, because beginning with the Spanish-American War, the Filipino commitment to the defense of the United States, and especially in the branch of the Navy, all branches, but there was a huge concentration of Filipinos who served in the Navy, has been a really spectacular part of our state. And so in and around that largest naval operation in the world, we have this wonderful, multi-generational Filipino-American community. Now, this is a community that has faced discrimination and challenge from the very day they started to sign up to serve in the American military. I remember as a young man going to a site in the Shenandoah National Park. It's called Hoover Camp. It was the predecessor to Camp David, the summer home of President Hoover, high up in the mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. And a few simple cabins are still there with some historic signage, but even when I was a young man going there for the first time, the signage talked about when President Hoover and his wife and guests would go there, they would be accompanied by, quote, Filipino boys. That was the term that was used at the time for these active duty naval officers who would accompany the president to Camp David. That term boy is a diminutive that is a well-known diminutive and a derogatory diminutive in our civil rights history, and that was applied to active duty United States military of Filipino descent. We also know, and Maisie has been a champion in this, for the Filipino veterans who were not part of the U.S. military but who fought together with the U.S. military during World War II. Many soldiers from other nations fought together with the U.S. military, and they were largely compensated and taken care of and recognized in the aftermath of World War II. The Filipino members who fought with us were promised that recognition. They were promised that compensation by President Truman immediately after World War II, but the Congress at that time refused to make good on the promise. And it was only because of the effort in 2010 to pass the stimulus bill that Congress finally did what President Truman said we would do in 1947 and provide some measure, insufficient, inadequate, given the deaths of so many, but some measure of help to these wonderful veterans who served in the cause accompanying brothers in arms in the United States. So it's been a wonderful thing in the last few years, albeit late, that first we would provide some recognition, and then after Senator Hirono tried to work on a family parole situation so family members could come and help their World War II veteran relatives when we couldn't get that done through an immigration reform bill because of the House's refusal to act on something so basic and so just. I mean, who would be opposed to this? And yet even that could not get a vote. Even that could not get attention in the House. Senator Hirono, who is very well known here for if I can't make something happen one way, I'm going to figure out if there's another way to make something happen. She has worked with the administration, and the administration has done the right thing by these veterans. And I know that in our Virginia community, this is a real strong point of pride, and it's a real happy step forward, long overdue, but it's a happy step forward. So I'm happy to be here with my colleagues, and especially happy to be here with those who have served our nation so proudly. Thank you.
Good morning. To everyone. My name is Rudy Panaglima. I am a Filipino war veteran I am a member of American Coalition for Filipino Veterans. I am 86 years old. My wife and I are U.S. citizens. We reside in Arlington, Virginia. My wife, Pura, is 83. She and I migrated to the United States more than 20 years ago. Thank you, sir. We have 4 children. They are all married. 2 of them, fortunately, are already in London. And 2 was left in the Philippines. He's Rolando and Raul. And the 2 who are in London have approved immigration petition since 1995 and have waited more than nearly 20 years to join us. We need Rolando and Raul to take care of us because of our age. We don't have relatives in the area. Fortunately, my 2 other children, Olivia Taguba and Ruel Panaglima, happily live in England. In World War II or World War II, when I was 13 years old, my father, a guerrilla commander, drafted me as his runner or courier who did some intelligence, propaganda, and sabotage in our area. We gather information, collect voluntary contribution from our town peoples. Later, during the liberation campaign, my father and I were attached to 11 Airborne, USA, and 1st Cavalry Division, and participated in the liberation of Western Tayabas. Today, I am proud American who had served honorably. Hopefully, in a few months, my 2 sons could be with me, with us, here in America, with this parole visa program. On behalf of the whole Panaglima family, I would like to convey our heartfelt gratitude to His Excellency, President Obama, and the Honorable Senator Missy Hirono, and Senator Harry Reid, and Mr. Tim Kaine. With this executive order, I would like to make a request that my children come here without any more hindrance. Whatsoever. And my last special request to all of you to help us, if possible, to waive the filing fee. And for veterans of World War II, I thank you. Marami pong salamat.